And some new movies hitting the theaters starting tomorrow. One in particular is a remake, The Running Man. It's another Stephen King film adaptation that is hitting the big screen this year. Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About is here to talk about it. Sean, you've seen this movie. And all right, so Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk, came out 2 months ago. Now we have The Running Man. Of the two Stephen King movies, which one's better?
I would say The Long Walk is better, just as a movie that provided a fresh, distinct, unique experience. Which one's the more broadly accessible? Which one's the popcorn film that a larger group of people are more likely to have a good time with? It's Running Man. Running Man, by its nature, isn't people on a walk slowly dying. This is people running around shooting machine guns and dying. So it's just it's a more entertaining film. But you know, I absolutely would say that The Long Walk is the better film overall. So
what I also find, we showed an image a second ago of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Schwarzenegger, if I'm not mistaken, in 1987 came out with The Running Man.
Yep. Also
Predator. And I find it really interesting that you have Predator Badlands that came out last week, and now we have Running Man this week. So it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger Palooza without Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, all right, let me ask you, which one's better now? Predator Badlands, Running Man?
I would go with Predator Badlands, I believe, it is just such a crowd pleaser of a Predator movie that just does something fresh with it, that just put a big, gigantic grin on my face. All that said, I really enjoyed The Running Man as well. It's also a really fun film. It's a darker film in certain ways because of the nature of it. It's this dystopian future with a totalitarian, authoritarian government that's manipulating and lying to people while being this action film.
Well, let me get to that. So the basis, if my understanding is right, it's basically a reality game show where people are trying to win $1 billion, but running for their lives is all of America is trying to kill our star of the film, and that's the concept, correct?
Correct. Right. And at the beginning of this, you said it's a remake. That's slightly incorrect. It's a re-adaptation of the Stephen King book, where the one from 1987 kind of deviated, and it did kind of this American Gladiators version of the concept.
Yeah.
This version, he's out in the public, like he's literally traveling across the country, as you're seeing in the video. He's on roads, he's in vehicles. The general public are turning him in, and so he has to find a way to disguise himself and survive for 30 days while still having to turn these videotapes in out in the public. And so it's a much grander scale in the size of the competition, the scope, the length of time that takes place. So it's a very different film than the 1987 one. But yeah, he's out in the public and going to all these big cities and everything.
I'm all about that type of stuff. Glen Powell, does this make him an action star? Does this movie solidify him as this is the next upcoming action star?
I mean, he's obviously been this upcoming leading man of the last couple of years, and he brings back that everyman quality, which was another thing that wasn't in the 1987 film because Arnold Schwarzenegger is anything but an everyman. And Glen Powell kind of brings it back to that. He's just like a normal guy put in this desperate situation. He's not Austrian Oak, the bodybuilder. He's a normal guy. And so you feel that fear. He's driven by rage. He's a family man. And so, yeah, I mean, he can be fun. He can do the action. Yeah.
I want to bring this up because Arnold Schwarzenegger right there in the 1987 film, he's known as the Butcher of Bakersfield. So
yes, that's right.
He's a tie to this whole movie. That's why is there a connection to Butcher of Bakersfield in this movie?
There is not. That was one of the changes that they added for the 1987 one, where his motivation was him as a kind of a criminal, where he was framed. Yeah. And in the new one, it's out of desperation for a family member. Okay. I don't remember any Bakersfield connections in the new one, and he's definitely not the Butcher of Bakersfield, unfortunately.
All right, well,
he didn't slaughter people in your town.
We're going to talk more about this over on our Fox affiliate coming up in our 8 o'clock hour to talk more about the film. Sean, man, I appreciate your time this morning for coming on.
Absolutely.
And we'll do it more. There is a new movie hitting theaters this weekend. In fact, it's the second Stephen King film to hit theaters in 2 months. It's The Running Man. To talk more about it is YouTuber and Rotten Tomatoes critic, Mr. Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. Sean, all right, I want to talk about this. So we've already had the Stephen King movie, The Long Walk, come out. Now we have The Running Man, and this is done by director Edgar Wright. He has a specific style that he shoots. Is that the kind of style of a movie we get in this film?
No. So if you don't know who Edgar Wright is, he did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim, and just known for these like high energy, these clever transitions, and just bringing this blend of comedy, satire, cutting the movie to the music and the sound effects, highly stylized. And you don't really get that with this movie. It's very well made. It's shot well. But it's the kind of movie where you feel like there's other directors that could have delivered this film. As a fan of Edgar Wright's work and a fan of the fact that he has such a distinct voice and flavor, I did leave this movie disappointed that I didn't feel like I got as much Edgar Wright in this film. And once again, if you don't know who Edgar Wright is, that you'll watch the movie and be like, oh, it's just a big, slick, well-made Hollywood movie. As someone that's a fan of his work, I missed that flavor.
Well, that's okay. Some of the Edgar Wright stuff, though, he has a strong message about something. Is this a message-heavy film, or is it just a popcorn film?
Well, it's absolutely a message-heavy film. That goes back to the original source material.
Okay.
It delivers all the excitement, and it does its message properly, which is to say it tells a story that puts it in a context that communicates a message. And even if you kind of, the original book that Stephen King wrote under his pseudonym Richard Bachman came out in 1982, and there was kind of some, in the realm of philosophy, a lot of discussion going back. There's actually a philosopher named Francis Schaeffer who put out a book, How Should We Then Live, that discussed the idea of like whoever controls the news and has the megaphone controls the narrative, and that can lead to authoritarian states. Well, then that's the plot of Running Man. Like this philosopher said it in the 70s, and a few years later, it was told in book form, that story form, and it's telling that in movie form, and it's more relevant today than it was then in a world of social media, narrative-driven things. Even in the past week, there's a news organization in a different country, kind of in some hot water over misrepresenting something.
Yeah, BBC.
And then this movie comes out. Yep, you want to see? You'll say it, yeah. And then this movie comes out that is showing that sort of thing and the damage that misconstruing information can have. But like, it's a chase movie, it's an action movie, it's like a disguise movie. It's all of that at the same time, and the message is baked into this thrilling, exciting cake.
And when you look at Stephen King adaptations into film, how would you rank this in that category? There's a lot of them. I mean, you go from Carrie to Pet Sematary, is that one of them? You go so many different Stephen King films. Long Walk. Where would you put this in that category?
I mean, you've got some adaptations that are best movies of all time. You've got some that are terrible movies of all time, to the totally mediocre. I'd put this one right about here, where it's like, it's very good. It's not an all-time classic movie. It's not that, but it's a really fun popcorn movie that has a lot of deep, heavy emotion to it. It gives you a lot to think about. It's very well made. This is not up there with the all-time classics that we're going to be talking about in decades in the future.
So in 1987,
but it's a really enjoyable film.
Just to reiterate, 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger came out with Predator and Running Man.
Yeah.
Both of them now in the box office. You can only pick one today, Predator Badlands or Running Man. Which of these two films do you watch?
I mean, I think I have Predator Badlands inching out Running flavor and angle because you're following the predator and it's plenty of entertainment value. So I think it just found a way to cut through a little bit more than Running Man. But I don't think you go wrong with either one of these films. I think both of them are very enjoyable. Both of them very accessible, fun popcorn blockbusters.
Well, Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. You can follow him on YouTube, social media, everywhere you go. Sean, we appreciate your time. And hey, I'm going to go check out Running Man this weekend.
Sounds great. Let me know what you think.
I will.